Hey guys, I wanted to do so later tonight I'll have more time and I can do a more in-depth analysis, right? I wanted to do a live stream too because I haven't done one in forever, obviously. Now looking at the various time frames, you see, like I was saying, I have my Ethereum position open now, where I didn't use a stop loss, and it's been tough because what I've noticed is even though I've taken some time off, we're still in a very similar place to where we were when I was actively trading a month or two ago, where you can't really trade with short-term stops like that because the timing on these trend reversals are really hard to predict. Like we had the bottom out on the 4-hour Stoch, but since we don't have a clear repeating up and down pattern, it's really tough to predict that bottom reversal. So while I thought it was going to happen a little bit sooner up here, we got that final dip. Now I think we're getting that bounce. Plus we have the horizontal support at 41K. I'm actually going to open a position here on Bitcoin too, because I think overall this 4-hour bounce is going to be nice. It's going to be substantial, and we could go probably up to the bottom of the cloud here at 43 and change, if not higher. We could potentially go even higher. We can go all the way up to 43.5 maybe. I think the bottom of the cloud is going to be really strong resistance. Then we'll get a correction and then another attempt to break into the cloud, and that's where the daily and the weekly and the monthly and all that other bullish stuff comes into play. But at least short term for now, I think the 4-hour model gives us a really strong bullish reversal. So I'm going to add to my Ethereum position, and I'm going to open a Bitcoin position right here. Neither of them have a stop loss. Neither of them are huge positions. I'm not putting too much money into play, but some of the guys were asking if it's a good time to start buying in. So what I'm thinking is if you're getting in long term, right, if you're not worried about the short term ups and downs like I was just talking about, you don't have to worry about those precision entries where you get in at the exact bottom before a bounce. When I'm using my short term strategy, a lot of you guys have been with me for a long time, and you know when I'm making those short term precision trades, I'm really good at making those like insanely precise reversal calls, but I can't do it when the market is like this, right? So I shift my strategy. I do more midterm and long-term stuff right now. So if you're looking for the shorter term stuff, it's a lot tougher. But by all means, you know, if you want to get into some trades, I'll share some of my trade ideas with you as I see them. For right now, though, I'm focusing on the longer term stuff where I'm not going to use a stop loss and I'm going to put a smaller amount of capital in play. So to answer the guys who are asking me if it's a good time to buy, I would say so. That's what I'm doing. So not only do we have this 4-hour trend reversal right here, right? That's going to be an opportunity to make some money in the short term over the next 10 to 30 hours, I would say. But beyond that, we already talked about it in detail when I showed you the weekly and the monthlies, right? The weekly is getting close to bottoming out. So once the Stoch gets a reversal on the weekly, we're about to start a new monthly reversal too. And that monthly reversal on BTC especially is looking incredibly bullish. We already have that reversal, and the monthly candle, like I said, only has a little over 2 days left. So since we have a 4-hour bullish reversal, we should be able to continue upward enough to get a confirmation on the bullish crossover. And same thing with the short-term stuff. If I end up being wrong on the timing, right? And if we end up coming down further before the big monthly reversal, it's not the end of the world, because overall, when I first started talking about this analysis a little while ago and I was sharing my thoughts, I was explaining how I anticipated a correction down to where the top of the cloud is on the weekly model. So I thought we would get down to the mid 30s. We could still get a big dump to the mid 30s. That's where the really long-term stuff versus midterm swings comes into play. So I'm entering into BTC now based on the 4-hour model. I'm adding to my Ethereum trade based on the 4-hour model. And I'm expecting to get some potential profits out of that. But overall, for my big long-term bags where we get into that monthly reversal and we see a massive meteoric rise to all-time highs, I am expecting that. But much with the short-term stuff, I can't give you a very precise bottom. I would say that mid-30s range, in the 30s here, between, say, about 34 to where the 55 EMA is right here. Those are my Ichimoku dynamic supports. So I would say between 34 and 37 is that golden zone on Bitcoin. But we might not actually push all the way down. We might continue upward from here. It's just too early to tell. So if you're going to get in, I would say the best way to play it and the strategy I would employ here would be to dollar cost average in. So if you wanted to put in, say, $10,000 into long-term Bitcoin investment, you could put $5,000 in here now, right? And then if we get that final dump, you could put the rest of the money in when we get to that ultimate bottom that I was anticipating. If we don't get to that ultimate bottom and over the next week we get the bullish confirmation and we start that big bull run taking us to all-time highs, you could pay a little bit more to buy in later. And obviously you're not going to get as good of an entry if you're buying higher, but you also have the luxury of having a lot more confidence in your analysis, right? Because if we get to that point where we have a bullish breakout and a bullish breakout is confirmed, then you have a high level of confidence when you're getting in. As opposed to buying in now where there's still a chance it could dip lower, it's always better to split up your capital and you have the opportunity to buy in lower if you get that final dip. That's at least how I play it. Overall, starting to phase into those longer term bags is a good idea given the fact that we got the weekly correction exactly like I predicted we would. Now I'm having trouble saying with a high level of confidence exactly when that bottom is, but I do know the bottom is coming. Much like I said with the 4-hour model, right? I wasn't able to give you a precise bottom for the 4-hour model. I thought it would bottom out a little bit sooner, and then it pulled down for another probably 12 candles here, right? So I couldn't come up with a really precise entry on the 4-hour model, but I do know that the 4-hour reversal was coming and is coming. And it looks like we're starting that bounce right here, so I'm going to add to my positions. I'm only going to stick to the majors for now, and again, I'm not putting a lot of money in play because I'm still just getting back into the groove. I have to knock off the rust, and if I put too much money in play right now and I end up taking a big loss, I'll never forgive myself because after not trading for a couple months, I can't put a lot of money into play. It's just too irresponsible. I really need to wait until I build my confidence back up. But I'm starting to ease my way in, and if you're looking for a good time to get in for the mid and longer term holds, I would say joining me in easing in a little bit might not be a terrible idea. Just don't go in too big because we still do have that potential 35K dip we might get if we get one more bearish weekly model, and I'm not sure how that's going to play out. This weekly candle is over in 5 days, so we have almost 2 full weeks. After this weekly candle, the next weekly candle might start that big bull run up, or it could give us the final dump to 35K. So I would say at the end of this week, we'll be able to make a much more precise, be able to paint a much more precise picture and have a much better idea of how the timing is going to work out. But the overall trend, I'm really confident about. I don't see any model where we go below the top of the cloud here. Whether we dip to the bottom of the cloud or we hold in this region and start moving up from here, this cloud on the weekly model is going to be a massive launching point, and we're going to start that monthly bull run taking us to all-time highs. I'm really still very confident about that. Even if I don't know exactly when it'll start, I'm confident it's right around the corner. All right, I'll do a more detailed update later. Hopefully I could do a live stream. If you guys have any questions, let me know.